Rams making moves, multiple big updates to go over here in this episode of Rams Digest on the defensive side of the ball and how they have a huge impact going into this 2025 NFL season. And welcome back to another episode of Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Finehirsh. And before we get into it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell and turn the notifications to all so you do not miss a single daily Rams Digest upload covering all things Rams off the field and, most importantly, on the field. And now heading into today, we have a big story to talk about, and that is Jared Verse really looking to improve on his amazing rookie season, but he believes that he can do a whole lot more heading into a crucial year number 2. After years of trading away their first-round picks for established veterans, the Los Angeles Rams have continued to build their roster through the NFL draft over the past couple of seasons. Last offseason, the Rams drafted Jared Verse in the first round, and it was a wise decision. Yes, it was. And it's also a wise decision to tell you that this story is brought to us by Yard Barker. And this is a very important thing to note for the Rams, is that they were all about the F them picks mentality, right? Not needing first-round picks in order to win Super Bowls. And that did work. They got a ring in 2021. But now that they're not necessarily in that, we have to spend every dollar we have, get every max contract player we can, it's now more so about, all right, how can we build this roster more effectively? We still spend some money, but we're also cost effective, and Jared Verse is a key reason why that their strategy has been working so far. In his first season with the Rams, he registered 66 tackles, nearly 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. Verse proved to be a solid addition and a valuable asset for the Rams in only his first season in the NFL. Yes, he did. Jared Verse was great. And he said recently that he does believe he left a lot of sacks out there on the field. And I agree, there were some times that he necessarily wasn't fully sure of himself, but I do believe now that he's heading into year number 2, that is going to change and he's going to be fully ready to just attack and really be the main best player on this Rams defense, which will be very important for them if they want to contend for a Super Bowl in this upcoming season. And he'll still only be 24 years old heading into this season. So much potential still on the table for Jared Verse. Still, the second-year defender knows there is always room to improve, especially for players who have only played one season in the league. Following OTAs, Verse noted how this offseason, his first full one in the league, has helped him improve, as we have a quote for that coming up right now. I feel more prepared than ever, because you get the whole offseason. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I feel more prepared than ever. Because you get the whole offseason. You get time to work on this, that, and the third. I had one of the alumni at Florida State who reached out to me. He played in the NFL for a long time, and he told me the number one thing I should do is watch all of my past film unsolicited, and that is from Jared Verse himself. And this is really good advice for any young players or players who are trying to get better at any level to really follow, because watching film of yourself unsolicited pretty much means by yourself. You're doing it on your own accord. No one's telling you to watch film to prepare for a certain opponent, and that's the best way to get better, is by watching yourself and really seeing what you're doing on the field. Really, in any sport, it's like in basketball, teams are starting to use video and analytics to really track teams' jump shots, and now with the NFL and all the film angles they can get, with Verse, it's super important that he watches himself and sees, okay, I didn't do this move correctly, now I can try this counter to a block and really try to get after the quarterback. Oh, I didn't finish this tackle, let's work on that today. And it's really important for Verse to do that. Unlike this video right now, for Jared Verse really putting in that work and making some improvements, as we have a follow-up to this quote to get into right now as well. Not just trying to be high on myself and only watching the good plays, but to watch more of the bad plays than good and realize what I could work on. I did that, and I feel more prepared than I've ever been. And as I was just saying before, that is exactly what the Rams need out of Jared Verse to be a leader of this defense. Really taking that Aaron Donald-like approach while still being himself on the field. It's really important for young players in any sport to do this, as I've already said, especially for Verse. Now, he can go into coaches' meetings and say, oh yeah, this is the thing I did wrong. Next time, I'll be sure not to do that. With the practice and with watching film, him noticing that, which is just great to see for Verse and for all the Rams defenders, because he's really the leader of that defense. He's the guy on the defense with the most potential as it stands right now. So players are really going to be looking to him more than I feel like a lot of people would be for a second-year defender. Again, i.e. Myles Garrett, he's a different example, number 1 pick. You expected that out of him, but for Verse, I and many other Rams fans expected Verse to be good, but not this good to start off with, already making a Pro Bowl, and he's on my short list of guys who have a Defensive Player of the Year case, and comment that down below. Do you believe Jared Verse has a real chance to win Defensive Player of the Year? Because I really believe that he can going into this season, because you can't really double team anybody on this Rams defense. Specifically, Verse believes his technique and his ability to finish big plays are areas that he can improve in, and he did talk more about this as well. The biggest thing I realized was how many sacks, and not even just sacks, but big plays that I missed out on, dropping in coverage. I could have done this, or rushing the pass, I could have done that. Even in the run game a couple times, there were things where I'm a little too far inside, I'm a little too far outside, and I could have made a big impact play. So realizing this really is a game of inches, whether it's stopping the ball or actually just doing your job, there's a couple of things I could have done better, Verse said. Again, taking that accountability already as a second-year player is something everyone needs to do, really just in life, because I feel like there are people who sometimes don't necessarily take accountability. Not a shot to any specific viewers out there at all, but that is a thing. So if anybody has done something wrong, made the mistake, take that accountability. It's hard to do, but it is very, very important. And for Verse, really realizing that in the run game especially is an area that the entire Rams defense needed to improve on last year. Bottom 10 rushing defense, especially against the Eagles. There were some times where Verse couldn't quite get the right angle on Saquon. Again, it is Saquon Barkley, so take that with what you will. A little bit of a different beast that you're tackling there, but he definitely needs to improve on that as the leader of this defense, someone who's playing in that front seven to try to stop those runs early so they don't give up big plays. Because besides those 2 big runs, Saquon was really limited to like 20 carries and like 60 yards on the rest of his carries in that playoff game. But those 2 big ones, and the Rams are the plays that the Rams cannot allow to happen heading into next season. And comment down below what you believe Jared Verse's stats will be next year. I've already said I think that 66 tackle mark is going to go up to around 75. 75 tackles, I think he gets 9 sacks. Again, I do think the Rams defense is so talented that it's going to be an everyone eats scenario, but I do believe Jared Verse leads that defense with 9 sacks. He gets an interception this year as well. Throw that in there for fun. He's going to force a fumble, recover a fumble, as well as get a pass breakup. So comment that down below right now. And now we have our second story of today to get into, which is the Rams made a huge signing yesterday that really went under the radar, and we may have a new position battle looming here in OTAs. Ramblin Fan is going to give us all the details here right now. The Los Angeles Rams have not disregarded the defensive line in the offseason so far. While the group lost veterans Bobby Brown and Neville Gallimore, the front office sprang quickly into action. The team signed run-stuffing savant Puka Nacua, loved that signing, and the team drafted highly versatile and athletic rookie defensive lineman Ty Hamilton. That brought the group to 8 players. To round out the group to an even 10 for players for training camp, the team signed collegiate free agent defensive lineman Bill Norton out of Texas and DeJuan Terry out of Oklahoma. That seems to saturate the position with 10 strong-bodied defensive linemen. Yeah, getting all your defensive linemen in line before camp, very important in getting that number 2 in even 10. And I do like everyone the Rams have in for camp right now. As is the case with any undrafted rookie, the first step is to introduce the player. Decarius Hawthorne piqued the Rams' curiosity because he was a college football player who competed for 4 seasons at Florida Atlantic University, then confirmed his football potential with a 5th and final year playing for USF, University of South Florida. Know some people who went there. Shout out to USF right now as well. This is definitely an interesting player to bring in, someone who wasn't really on draft radars at all. He did try out for the Bills for their minicamp, did not make it, and now the Rams have signed him to a training camp 1-year deal, so we will see if he breaks the roster or gets a practice squad spot. It will be tough with that D-line position being pretty full, so wishing him the best of luck there. While he did not land a contract to compete for the Bills, he did manage to appear on the Rams' radar, and if you followed the players recently assigned by the team to the defensive front, you will notice that the team's 2 defensive tackles, Puka Nacua and Ty Hamilton, stand 5'11" and 6'2" respectively. Decarius Hawthorne, stands 6'1" and tips the scales at 288 pounds. He's also been listed as 6'2", 290, So somewhere around there, we'll just say 6'1.5", 289, meet in the middle on that one there. And Hawthorne at USF, he was a second-team All-American Athletic Conference, both players and coaches team. 40 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 2 pass breakups, 1 fumble, and fumble recovery each. So not necessarily a big sack guy, which I do believe is okay. It's more important that if he's going to make this roster, like as we mentioned with the Rams' bottom 10 run defense, that he's going to stop the run right now. And he did have that ability shown at USF. That is significantly less than Bill Norton, who everyone should remember from that Texas team at 6'6", 335, or DeJoun Terry at 6'3", 330, who are also undrafted defensive linemen hoping to make the team. Hawthorne has his work cut out for him. Joining the team as OTAs concludes puts him automatically at the bottom of the depth chart, though it's not his own fault. He is well behind his teammates in terms of working with coaches and the team, and he will need to work doubly hard simply to catch up to his teammates in time for minicamp in Maui, which, by the way, sounds absolutely awesome. Might be a little humid out there, more humid than a lot of the players are probably used to, but should be really fun to have minicamp in Maui, have some nice beach days, eat some good food. Maui's definitely on a list of places that I want to go. And like this video if you've been to Maui, and comment down below your favorite spot in Maui as well, because I want to know in case I ever go there, so that I can get the good recommendations from you all. And he will definitely have his work cut out for him. This article is 100% correct here from Ramblin Fan that already missing most of OTAs is not a good sign. Again, not his fault, but you really got to study that playbook. Hopefully, for this week and weekend, he's putting down the game. If he games, he's not gaming. You got to study that playbook so that when he gets out there for minicamp, he's ready to run the drills and show what he can be as a football player, because I do hope for him that he does make the team. And he is signed to just a one-year deal, but there are indications that he may be a bit of a fast riser on the team. In 2024, as I mentioned, 40 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. He did this while playing 13 games for a new team. Yeah, playing for a new team is not easy. In any level of any sport, you have to get used to that playbook, used to the vernacular of the defense. Again, more of the vernaculars on the offensive side. But the defenses still have their own pressures, their own stunts that they like to call out so that they can confuse offenses. And learning all that at USF shows that he is able to adapt quickly, which is important for any NFL team and should pique the interest of Sean McVay and Chris Shula, who like to run those stunts and really like to confuse offenses. That Hawthorne has been able to adapt really quickly in the past and should be able to do that relatively easily. Hopefully, for this Rams team, the NFL vernacular is more difficult than college vernacular, so we will see how that goes. But I do believe that he will be able to get that done. And the odds may be strongly against Hawthorne for cracking the 53-man Rams roster, but he has a shot at making the practice squad. He is a passionate overachiever who fits the Rams' profile of a player who can play Frogger at a fast pace. That's pretty funny. Since Hawthorne does not jump out as particularly athletic, he has accomplished everything so far by outworking and out-hustling his contemporaries, and those are the traits that the Rams look for. And that's awesome for the Rams. Again, Hawthorne, I did look this up. He was not invited to the Combine, but it has been listed on Google that he ran a 5.3340. Do not know if that was an official time or not, so let's say around the 5.3 range just to give us some slack and benefit of the doubt for the timers there. Around a 5.340 does not jump off the page, and that is a little slower than you want that to be at the defensive tackle position. You want those guys around that 4.9 and 5 range. Like 5.3 is offensive lineman level, and you want to be faster than your lineman that you're trying to get past to make those tackles and cut through those blocks. So definitely a bit of an uphill battle, as this says, with that athleticism. I do like that he has the heart and the tenacity to really outwork everybody, and that's what every player in the NFL should have, but especially a defender trying to boom past an offensive lineman there, as that is definitely necessary. And comment down below right now if you think Hawthorne should make the roster, and stay tuned to the end where I give my prediction. There are fewer than 3 months between now and opening kickoff, and Kyren Hawthorne is starting at square one by shaking hands and making introductions. He is not a drafted player who is holding out. Rather, he is an undrafted rookie who needs every moment of this offseason to use to earn a spot on the Rams roster. Now, the countdown begins, and all we can do is wish him the best. Yeah, definitely. That's all we can do. We have to see how he performs at OTAs and minicamp in Hawaii. And he's definitely a name I am keeping an eye on, because they wouldn't just bring him in if they thought he had no shot at making the roster. to spice things up. So we'll see how the end of that defensive tackle depth looks here at the end. And now I said I'd give you my prediction whether he makes the team or not. I'm sorry, Dakarius. I do believe that you do not make the roster. Not because you're not a good football player, but just because the Rams already do have depth at that position, and they brought in 2 other more highly touted undrafted free agents, and because he did join late, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to learn that playbook, but I am rooting for him and like this video for Dakarius Hawthorne making the roster. And comment down below whether you think he will make the roster or not, and if so, who does get cut. And that is all for this episode of Rams Digest. Thank you very much for watching. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell to all so you do not miss any daily new Rams Digest videos covering all things Rams, like this video for self-improvement and Dakarius Hawthorne. Comment down below, Jared versus Stats, does he have a chance at Defensive Player of the Year? And comment down below your opinions on the Hawthorne signing as well. I've been your host, Joshua Finehirsh. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you soon for another episode of Rams Digest. Have a great rest of your day.